Time to head down south to Tallahassee, and here's Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley.
Thanks, Bob. It's anniversary time in Tallahassee. 1 year ago, the Punt-Rooski. It's now one of the most famous plays in college football.
With a minute 33 to go in the game, it's 21-21. And here's the short handoff and the little handoff to the upback. Leroy Butler's got a long way to go to the 40. Leroy Butler to the 50. Leroy Butler to the 40 to the 30. Leroy Butler to the 20. Leroy to the 10. Leroy Butler knocked out of bounds at the 4-yard line. What a play by the Seminoles. Some razzle-dazzle.
Now the ball snapped to him. He takes it up here, and this guy here is sitting like this. You know, very original.
This stunned crowd at Clemson is just awed by the guts of that play.
So why did you do that? I wanted somebody to win. We were determined somebody gonna win that game.
You can fool some of the people some of the time.
Oh, God, just please don't do it again.
Florida, ESPN College Football Saturday presents number 10 ranked the Clemson Tigers against the number 16 ranked Seminoles of Florida State. Hello, everybody. I'm Ron Franklin, and welcome in on this Saturday evening. We've got another great one lined up for you this evening here on ESPN. When you talk about Clemson and Florida State, the first thing that has to come to mind is consistency. Two coaches that know how to get it done, and Ford and Bowden. Florida State 11-1 the last 2 years. Clemson 10-2 the last 2 years. Kevin Kiley joins me on the telecast tonight. And Kevin, I look at that and I say they have so much in common because the bottom line is the same. They win, but somehow I don't think they get there the same way.
No, they don't. This is no longer Tallahassee, by the way. They call this Rooskieville. It's Bobby Bowden's by name. Trickery is my game. A wide open offense. He'll do anything. Unlike Clemson, they're very, very secure down there. They like to run the ball, and Danny Ford would rather have a tooth pulled than throw a forward pass.
Well, talking to the Clemson Tigers and Danny Ford, he's playing two different quarterbacks this year in Morocco and Cameron. He gets Terry Allen back from a week of suspension, and some people say they may have the best contingency of the four linebackers of any team in the entire country. That's very formidable.
Well, they're not only formidable on the field, they're a very tough physical program. In fact, people say when you play Clemson, leave the wife and the children at home. Danny Ford wins three ways. First with the kicking game, two with the defense, three with the offense. The kicking game, Chris Kardaki, the sophomore, he punts and he kicks field goals. He may be a #1 pick and he's still a sophomore. They're talking about that. Defensively, those linebackers are as fast as any they've ever had here at Clemson, and they're led by the bandit John Johnson, and he's an excellent player. Offensively, they just take what's left over, and one of the leftovers was Terry Allen, a converted defensive back who will become, if he's not injured, the leading rusher in Clemson history by the end of his junior year.
Over the Florida State Seminoles, they dropped that opener last week, and of course names like Sammy Smith and Deion Sanders are gone. Those are some big shoes to fill. However, Coach Bowden went out and had what has been ranked as the #2 recruiting class in the entire nation. They've got great youth. They've got some great members of an upper class, but I also get the feeling that they are still searching for an identity.
Well,
Kevin.
they are, Ron. You know, and that youth hurt them last week in the kicking game. They're going to use veterans this week in the kicking game because they had some problems with the kick return teams of Southern Mississippi, and it caused them some problems. But it's a Rubik's Cube offense. There it is, right in front of you. All you have to do is figure it out. Wide open. They've got great talent. Peter Tom Willis is a proven quarterback, the Fab Four at receiver, and they will open it up.
So it's Florida State against the Clemson Tigers. They're going crazy, and here come the Tigers. And out of the south end of the stadium, the Seminoles. ESPN's College Football Saturday. Clemson against Florida State is is brought to you by Fuji, makers of quality film and cameras. Fuji, a new way of seeing things. By Arborall Protectant, because we're crazy about cars too. And by Michelob. One taste will tell you why the night belongs to Michelob. Friday evening at the Union Green, the Scalp Hunters put on a pep rally. Over 1,000 students joining in on the festivities, which included assorted competitions and lots of spirit. And for Clemson fans, a traditional tailgate this afternoon, and it brought out cheers for the visiting Tigers. And we're live here in Tallahassee, Florida, for the coin toss of tonight's ball game. Over 60,000 fans here.
He's calling a tail. It is a head. You have choice.
You want to decline to the second half.
Going to defer to the second half. All right, they have deferred. You have a choice to kick, receive, or defend the goal. You want to receive. They're going to receive. Which goal do you want?
Danny Ford looks on as Chris Morocco, his senior quarterback, says we will receive, and it will be Clemson in the all-white uniforms to receive to our left. And now another one of the great traditions in college football. This is Chief Osceola on Renegade. Club until after that went on, and they said, Coach, you got to have the toss of the coin first, so you got to be out there.
That would make me mad if I was on the Clemson team. I'd be mad now.
Weather conditions not nearly so warm as we had last Saturday evening out in Texas. 90 degrees, 65% humidity, but as you can see, with a 7:30 start time, or just beyond 7:30, with a slight breeze, which will really not be a factor, it actually is very comfortable. The temperature is supposed to go down into the 80s here in Tallahassee, Florida this evening. Number 16 against number 10. And as you can see, not a seat to be had. The Clemson band has traveled down from South Carolina. 7,500 tickets were offered to Clemson, and they sold them all in a very short period of time.
I used to do Clemson football, and Clemson people will travel. No distance is too great to see their team. They love their team.
Florida State to kick off.
This is a critical play for Florida State. Last week, as you see, special team woes, and you're not kidding, it cost them the game. 27.7 on kickoff returns. And look at the field position. And Bobby Bowden told us this week his defense played pretty well. The problem was the field position, and no defense in the country could have held Southern Mississippi at the point that they got the ball. So he's put veterans on the kickoff team. He's replaced some of the younger players, and he expects a better performance.
Rich Andrews, a junior out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, is about to accept the football, and one of the deep backs, Joe Henderson, quite a threat, a senior out of Freehold, New Jersey. And flanking him, number 41, Duck Thomas. Clemson and Florida State, and we are just about set to get this one underway. At the 5. Breaks it at the 45, and is finally going to be upended across the 47-yard line. And now, tonight's starting lineups, brought to you by Road Handler. Chris Morocco will open at quarterback. He will have behind him Terry Allen and Wesley McFadden. The wide receivers, Rodney Fletcher and Gary Cooper. The tight end is Stacy Fields. Up front, the offensive center, Hank Phillips. The offensive guards, Jeff Flesh and Eric Harmon. The tackles, Bruce Bratton and Stacy Long. And we'll check the Seminole defense in just a moment. Pass on first down, and it is complete inside the 40 to Rodney Fletcher. Lo and behold, the team that loves to run comes out throwing. Odell Haggins is the nose guard for the Seminoles. Ostazuski twins, Henry and Joe at the tackle spots. Shelton Thomas and Kevin Grant at the outside linebackers. Keith Carter and Kirk Carruthers at the inside backers. Corian Freeman and Leroy Butler are the corners, and the safeties Bill Reagans and Dedrick Dodge. Option to the near side. Morocco on the keep, but he's going to be knocked down for no gain. Kevin Grant.
Again, the special teams early in the game cost Florida State field position, and Clemson offensively is very conservative. They will not usually throw the ball early inside their own 40. What that special teams play did was give them good field position and made it able for them to open up their offense.
Morocco dumps it off. McFadden inside the 25, and McFadden is down to the 20-yard line. Leroy Butler makes the tackle, but it's a gain of 18 yards, and Kevin, 2 of the first 3 plays for the Tigers by air.
This is the fullback McFadden. He's going to fake a little block there, and then just in time, Morocco gets rid of the ball before the blitz get him. That's just super offense. McFadden knew exactly when to release the block, and Morocco hung in there just long enough to get him the ball. See the blitz coming down on him? He knows he's going to get hit. He delivered the ball.
Pitch to Allen. First carry puts a head down inside the 15 in the vicinity of the 12-yard line. Dedrick Dodge, the senior, 6'2", 180 pounds, out of Melbourne, Florida, is there to make the tackle. First game for Terry Allen, who had to sit out last week because of a suspension.
Very fortunate that game was against Furman, a very fine program, but not as big and strong as Clemson. They didn't miss him as much as they would have against maybe a bigger opponent.
Driving while intoxicated is what the youngster was arrested for. McFadden, right up the middle, has a couple of very tough yards, then is stood up and knocked back. And the first man to hit him was 45, Kirk Carruthers. Odell Hagens also on the bottom of the stack, helping out.
Key matchup will be the center, Tank, and Hagens. Hagens, 2 men, they're trying to double team him. He gets pushed off the line, but is able to get off the block and come back and get the ball carrier. They're going to need a big game from their middle guard, Hagens.
First down, Clemson, and the ball, Kevin, squarely on the 10-yard line. So they'll have to push it in to pick up a first down without penalty.
They normally go to the option on goal line.
Pitch to Allen. Cracks his way inside the 6, and he's down to the 5. John White coming up from his strong safety position to really knock him down, but Kevin, it's a gain of another 5 yards, and great blocking to the right side. Harmon and also Long.
Danny Ford is on record as saying he'd rather have an offensive line than an outstanding quarterback. He believes in the people up front.
Allen at the 2. Leroy Butler, one of the first for Florida State to come up and make contact. Odell Hagens also comes over, and it's going to be 3rd down Clemson. Allen now with 4 carries for 19.
Ron, last week against Furman, 2 4th and 1s for Clemson. They didn't make either one of them against Furman. And that was running the ball. Let's see if they don't try something different.
Nose of the ball on the 1. Paving the way, and Clemson on top 6-0 as Chris Gardocki, a sophomore out of Stone Mountain, Georgia, to attempt the extra point. Give this TD the offensive line. There's Tanks
the center. They bury the middle guard, and now it's basketball. And up and over for a touchdown. Remember, they didn't have Terry Allen last week.
Terry Allen, who did not play last week because of suspension, has his presence felt in this opening drive. And it's the Tigers 7, Florida State nothing. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Clemson versus Florida State, is brought to you by Mazda Tires and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. And by Tempstar. Call Tempstar for a free guide to air conditioning. 7-0 our score, and Kevin again, special teams. As Bobby Bowden had preached all week to his ball club, it hurt him last week, it has hurt him again. This is Kuba with the kickoff. Dossie at the 6. Tom Willis will open at quarterback out of Morris, Alabama. Dexter Carter and Edgar Bennett behind him as the running backs. Terry Anthony and Ronald Lewis are the wide receivers. Dave Roberts, the tight end. Look for him a lot tonight. Michael Takes is the center. The guards, Hayward Haynes and Mike Morris. And the tackles, Kevin Mancini and John Brown. And we'll check the Clemson defense after this first play. Willis passed for 269 yards last week. Running play to Dexter Carter, and it will go for nothing as Rob Bodine, the nose guard, there you see him out of Belva, North Dakota, is there to make the tackle. Otis Moore and Vance Hammond are the defensive tackles. The outside linebackers, Levon Kirkland and John Johnson, very active both. Vince Taylor and Doug Brewster, the inside backers. At the secondary, Jerome Henderson and Dexter Davis are the cornerbacks. At the safeties, Arlington Nunn and James Lott. Of about a half yard, no more. Drop play. Crossing the 30-yard line is Bennett out to around the 32. John Johnson from that outside linebacking spot on the left steps in his way to make the stop.
Florida State, not a big, powerful line, but they'll do a lot of influence blocking here. Look at Morris as he releases. Comes right through. Morris, number 65, and Bennett following him through. Now, that's the way they block. They won't blow you off the line, but they will influence you and then lead around and push you around when they get an angle.
Third down. They need just about the 36. Willis on the play action. Going to go long for Shannon Baker, and it is incomplete and almost intercepted. He caught it. I don't believe it. At the 15-yard line. Shannon Baker, 53 yards. And there is a marker back at the 25-yard line.
All right, this is Florida State's offense all the way. This guy is a burner. He runs about a 4.3, a young kid, and they're just sending him down the field. The pass is perfectly thrown, but frankly, it should have been intercepted. Clemson defense is there. Great concentration by Shannon, and as he holds on, and now we're going to see it's going to be a penalty against Florida State. It's going to come back, but pretty good play, pretty good catch, and that'll loosen up Clemson's defense.
James Lott was number 5 in your picture, who was battling for the football.
Holding against Florida State, 10 yards, still third down.
It's a holding penalty on number 50. Middle of your screen, left center, John Brown. Clearly holding, clearly a penalty.
So erase the 53-yard completion for the Seminoles, and now it is third down and just over 13 as Bobby Bowden paces the sideline. Willis throws it away. Dave Roberts, the tight end, was the closest man to it. And the 7,500 partisans from Clemson are up and cheering their approval as Florida State will have to kick it away. Charlie Ward last week, 4 kicks, 39 yards, his longest, 46. Number 5, James Lott, back at a single safety for the Clemson Tigers. Lott retreating inside the 35. tries to put a move on it. He's going to be knocked down in his tracks as a marker goes down at the 30-yard line. Reggie Freeman, a freshman out of Clewiston, Florida, is downfield of the special teams. A kick of 46 and a loss of 2 on the return.
Face mask, 5 yards against Florida State.
5 yards to be assessed against Florida State. A split crew in this ball game tonight. Southern Independent Conference is where half of the officials are from. That's where Buddy Ward is from. And from the Atlantic Coast Conference, that's how the split is made. It's Clemson on top 7-0 with 9:11 left in this opening period.
I need to apologize to Hank Phillips on that last drive. He is the center for Clemson, and I was calling him Tanks. Mike Tanks is the center for Florida State. Sorry, Hank. Hanks and Tanks. It's tough.
Timeout on the field, so let's take it with them. 7-0. Clemson with an early lead. Chance of war from the Florida State fans, and they need it as they are down 7-0. Morocco 2 of 2 on that opening drive, 31 yards. Allen crosses the 35. Odell Higgins steps up to knock him down at the 37. Some other scores. Oklahoma State and Tulsa tied at 7. Good match up in the state of Oklahoma there. 28-0 to Auburn, number 5 ranked in the nation. They're only in the second. Duke has jumped out early on Northwestern. 13-12 California over the Ducks. That one in the second. Fullback McFadden right up the middle. Will take it across the 40. Around the 41, and it's going to be a 3rd down at about 4. Kevin Grant defensively for the Florida State Seminoles.
Clemson is a team that really doesn't like to be in a passing situation, and they will at times ignore the fact that they're in a passing situation, run a fullback trap, or just run that option and try to pick up the 4 yards.
Morocco comes out from under center, wants to call a timeout. Did not like what he saw, Kevin. Exactly what it was, I don't know. He only had the one single setback in McFadden.
Well, it looked like Florida State went to man coverage there. And again, Clemson is really not, it's not an offensive team in the sense that they have a lot of balance. They don't really pass that well. Although last week their 2 quarterbacks, you're looking at Morocco. Morocco had a really big day. He was 8 for 14, which is very unusual. And Deshaun Cameron, who was the backup quarterback, came in was 6 for 6 against Furman. That is unlike Clemson. As I said in the open, Danny would rather get a tooth pulled than throw a forward pass.
Well, don't forget, ESPN's presentation of CFL football continues tomorrow night with a special edition. It's the defending WAC champion Wyoming Cowboys against the Falcons of Air Force. Tim Brando and Ben Stooley will be on hand beginning at 8:15 Eastern Time. We'll all get a glimpse at Air Force quarterback Dee Dallas, who rushed for 249 yards and 6 touchdowns just last week. Speaking of the Air Force quarterback, are you surprised, as we're still in this timeout here, are you surprised that Clemson is going with a 2 quarterback system? That kind of goes against the grain for Danny Ford, too.
Yes, it does. In the past, he's always liked to have a secure player in there, someone who is a veteran. In fact, it's only the 2nd time in my memory that he has done it. But he doesn't place the emphasis on the quarterback position that some others do.
Morocco knocked down. Nice defensive play by Kirk Carruthers. Stacy Fields, the intended receiver, and it'll be 4th down Clemson. And for the first time tonight, you will get a chance to see one of the really fine kickers in this country. He plays kicks. You saw him at the extra point, and now he punts. Chris Gardocki, only a sophomore, and he's a left footer. Retreating to the 9. off at the 20, near sideline, fumbles it, picks it up on a perfect bounce, and he'll take it out to the 49-yard line. Unbelievable. 49 yards in the kick, 39 on the return. The football is not round. It's not supposed to bounce right back like that, Kevin.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. This is just a tremendous effort by Buckley. He's caught here. He's loose. He's caught there. He's loose. Now the ball is loose. And now it's back. And he's down the sidelines. If he doesn't drop that ball, he may have gone all the way. But that's a special teams play. And that's something that State needed.
Peter Tom Willis from his own 49. Thrown for his running back, Dexter Carter, sliding out of the backfield, incomplete. Well, Peter Tom Willis last week, 25 of 40, 269 yards. And he said after the ball game, he said, I hate like the dickens that we lost, but I'd be lying if I didn't say I had fun out there today. I felt as though I learned something. Sideline overthrown. Roberts, his tight end, the intended receiver, and he got turned around at the 30-yard line. Arlington Nunn was out there covering for the Clemson Tigers. Willis, by the way, 0 of 3 tonight. You remember, he did have the one completion of 53 yards to the little speedster, Shannon Baker, but that one was erased because of a holding penalty.
Clemson is playing a zone, and they're playing a deep zone, and Peter Tom threw it into the zone that time. That pass could have been completed short.
Good protection. Now it breaks down under the rush of Levon Kirkland, and he will be sacked back inside the 40-yard line. Loss of 13.
Number 12, John Johnson, is the bandit. The best athlete on the defense plays the bandit position. Has to be a defensive back and also a pass rusher. He's the guy that forced him out of the pocket. And here comes Kirkland to wrap him up. First sack of the year against Florida State.
Charlie Ward, and only a great athlete, could have pulled down that snap from center. This is Lott at the 26. Heavy pressure again, and he's going to be knocked down by Grady Ross. That is super coverage by the Seminoles. Only 35 on the punt, but a -5 on the return. So let's take a break. Just beyond midway of the opening period. So far, it's the Tigers leading. Chief Osceola on the sidelines here in Tallahassee, Florida. We'll see how much time we have left in the first as Clemson scored at the opening drive. The reverse. Joe Henderson turns the corner, takes it across the 25, and now a late marker has been thrown at the 20. It kept from where it was thrown, and Haggins got caught from behind. Yep, clipping it. He's going to be called against the Tigers. Good strong lobby by Haggins on that play. And you get a good look at Calvin Smith. Injured his shoulder in preseason warm-ups, and they were not even having a contact drill.
On Clemson, still be first down.
You all remember Deion Sanders. This is not Deion Sanders. This is a 6'4", 221-pound cornerback who is replacing Deion, named Corian Freeman. Too big, in my opinion, to play cornerback. Without Deion, they have to play more zone. Deion used to play that wide side of the field and play man-to-man. Now Corian's out there.
Mickey Andrews says he'd rather have him at safety. He's so big. Draw play. Has 5, has 10, and Henderson rambles all the way out to the 25-yard line before Leroy Butler corrals him, and it's a gain of 13 yards.
Butler is the best athlete in the secondary, and it's a good thing they had him back there because he makes the play. Now, Clemson is a true option team. They will not throw in a situation like that. You can see Butler comes from all the way across the formation to make the tackle on Joe Henderson.
At 73 yards last week in the opener. Morocco pitches it to Henderson, has to wait to gather it, going to be caught shy of the first down. As Kirk Carruthers comes up, number 45, along with Howard Dinkins, to make the stop for Florida State. You know, we have called Carruthers' name several times tonight. I mentioned Kelvin Smith just a moment ago. They play the same spot. They're going to find a place for both of those guys on the field at the same time.
Well, they have excellent linebackers on this team, but they've had injuries throughout fall practice, and a lot of people got opportunities.
Well, he has them both in the ball game right now. Straight ahead on the carry, McFadden, and he bolts across the 30-yard line, and from where they have spotted, it would appear it is a Clemson first down. Yes.
There's a look at Deion Sanders and what he meant to the pass defense at Florida State. 131 yards per game last year. His personality is missing. Maybe that's not so bad. Deion could back up all his boasts. I'll get back to this. It's important, and we'll talk about it later.
Morocco under pressure, dumps it off for the middle, has it to Terry Allen, and he goes down immediately as Carruthers is right there at the 36.
Deion Sanders was a special type of player for Florida State. Reason being, he was a braggart a little bit, and he did boast, but he backed it up. He could run a 4.2, and he would make up for a lot of his mistakes. Some of the players on Florida State began to get that way. Bobby Bowden would tell him, don't be like Deion, please, because you guys may not be able to back it up. The fact that he's gone, you miss a great athlete. His personality maybe didn't do so well for this team.
Morocco comes out from under center. He had the two tight end alignment, and he calls a timeout to go to the sideline to talk with Tommy Ford. Danny Ford. So we'll hold it right here with 4:05 left in this opening period. Be sure to be with ESPN tomorrow morning at 11:30 for the season premiere of NFL Game Day. Chris Berman and our Emmy Award-winning crew as they preview opening day in the National Football League. Then at 7:15, back to tell you who won and lost and why on NFL Primetime, where you'll see the highlights of every game played that day. And on the Game Day show tomorrow, some really great ones. Joe Theismann in a one-on-one with Lawrence Taylor. And also, we spent the week with Jimmy Johnson as he prepares down in Cajun country.
I spent a few weeks with Jimmy Johnson last year.
Tim Crumry and his comeback. Those are the stories that they'll be talking on tomorrow.
Clemson has used 2 timeouts so far, and I think that's a factor of using 2 quarterbacks in your team. They're instructed if they have any indecision, especially with an option offense, to call timeouts, so you see Clemson using them. You don't really need them if you don't have a passing game, a sophisticated passing game, and a 2-minute offense at the end of the half. You use them more intelligently early.
Second down. They need the 41. Close to the first down is Terry Allen, but I don't think he's going to have it as Shelton Thompson, I beg your pardon, the senior out of Lakeland, Florida, comes across to make the stop. They're going to mark it down at the 40-yard line, in fact, just across.
You can almost set your watch by Danny Ford. He normally will not pass the ball until he gets to his own 40-yard line in a close game. It's just over the 40, but I think this is a dive play.
Allen, left side, has the first down. Being pushed back by Howard Dinkins, but forward progress will have him out around the 42.
Difference in this game is at the line of scrimmage so far. Clemson is controlling everything. Here you see the yellow hats here, and they're just plowing into these guys. And you got the thing about Allen is he's a tackle breaker, he's a power back, yet he's only 200 pounds. He picks up the first down.
Some of the 7,500 that have journeyed just over 7 hours by car to the Tallahassee area from Clemson, South Carolina. And their ball club leading 7-0. Just over 3 minutes left in this opening period. And Morocco has just called the third timeout for Clemson in this opening quarter. What's he seeing, Kev?
Well, remember, this is an option team and a part-time quarterback, and you saw the coach pat him on the behind as he went over there saying that's okay. When you run an option, you usually count the defense, and you'll run normally to the weak side of the defense. If you have a problem, the one thing you don't want to do when you're pitching the ball, you got to make sure your tailback's going to be there to catch the pitch. So if you have any question about what's strong, what's weak, or what you're going to do, you call timeout, especially with field position like this.
So with the timeout, let's go back to Bob Carpenter.
All right, Ron Franklin, thank you very much. Back to Tallahassee in just a few moments. But first of all, we want to check in with the Pac-10. Some action out west this evening with California. The Bears on the road against the Ducks of Oregon. And Oregon quarterback Bill Musgrave, a 3-yard touchdown pass to Jeff Thomason. Back and forth we go. It's Oregon 18, California 13 in the second quarter out west. And now back to Tallahassee.
18-13. Good ball game out there in the Pac-10. We got a great one here, 7-0. Clemson and Florida State. Just under 3 minutes left in this opening period. Allen to throw the halfback option, and it's overthrown, incomplete. Gary Cooper, the intended receiver. Florida State had a couple of guys in the vicinity, but not close enough, and had been on the money.
I'd say I've watched Clemson for years. This is classic Danny Ford. Here's Cooper. He's the flyer. You may even forget you have him on his team. He's a great athlete, but he rarely gets a chance to catch a pass. It's a first down pass. The ball was on the 42-yard line. But remember, it's a tailback throwing it. Here's Allen in his first game. I'll tell you, when Clemson gets to the 40, that's a helicopter there. When Clemson gets to the 40, start thinking pass.
That went for a touchdown against them last year. Option play to the left. Morocco will hold on to it. 47, Kevin Grant, one of the first men to get outside, along with Haynes.
Florida State would like the quarterback to carry the ball. He's the least damaging. The fullback at the point of attack can break a big one. The tailback is Terry Allen. They want this man, Morocco or Deshaun Cameron, if he's in the game, to carry the ball. And Danny Ford, of course, would like it to have it a different way.
Morocco to throw on 3rd and 7. Back over the middle, has it to his tight end Fields, and he has the first down and more inside the 40-yard line.
Florida State's going to roll it up to the wide side, and they're going to go back to the short side. Here goes Fields. He had 4 catches last week. Now, you have to understand, all the flow is going the other way. He throws it right in front of Butler, who's playing a zone, but he doesn't have any help underneath, and they complete the pass. A good play call for Clemson.
Stacy Fields, a scholar athlete. Look at total yards so far. Pitch to Allen, tripped up and knocked down as Henderson, I beg your pardon, number 33, the ball carrier. And it's Keith Carter who comes knifing through, the senior out of Miami, to knock him down just outside the 40-yard line. Gary Cooper comes back into the ball game for the Clemson Tigers. Junior Hall sets up in the backfield along with Joe Henderson. Draw. Look in pass, has it complete. Fletcher, and he may score. Caught from behind, knocked out at the 4. When a team runs as well as Clemson does early in the game, this is murder. Play action, tremendous execution. You're looking at it from the defensive secondary. Fletcher just makes a quick hook. Butler again caught man-to-man coverage, and he blows it completely. And now it's a foot race. So one they don't normally lose. Dodge is the man who came up and caught him from behind. It is 1st and goal, Clemson Tigers. McFadden to the 2. Keith Carter came came across, Kevin, to make the tackle, but he was just high-stepping and heading for the end zone.
You know, McFadden is an interesting guy. He was a tailback that gained 6,500 yards in high school. Came as a tailback, but they had Terry Allen. They moved him to fullback. And Danny Ford says flat out, I love the guy. He's one of the great players we've ever had.
Allen stopped at the 1, maybe inside the 1. Corian Freeman, a big 6'4" cornerback, comes up to force the play. And that is the end of the first quarter. So let's take a break. Clemson 7, Florida State nothing and threatening. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley, great to have you along on a Saturday evening from Tallahassee, Florida. 7-0. Clemson leads, and they are on the doorstep again. Third down. Allen, touchdown. Second touchdown, 29 yards on 10 carries, as Gardocki attempts to put Clemson up 14-0.
Clemson is winning this game at the line of scrimmage. They're doing all that they need to do. You got to give this to the center and the 2 guards, and then Allen, a very tough guy for a tailback. Phillips and Jeff Pledge at left guard and Eric Harmon at right guard. Tremendous job. Okay, watch from behind. See how they just cut him down? They get it nice and low. And Allen, there's not even a linebacker in sight. He's up over the top for a touchdown. His second touchdown. Very similar plays.
So for the Clemson Tigers, they dominated the first 15 minutes and now the first 3 seconds of this second quarter. And the storyline in this one, before a capacity house in Tallahassee, number 10 against number 16, has been total offense by the Clemson Tigers. 149 yards to only minus 16 for Florida State. Take a look at Morocco. 5 of 6. Peter Tom Willis looking for his first completion.
I think the biggest play was the kickoff return, the opening kickoff return, exactly what happened last week. It allowed Clemson to open up their offense early, and they are very conservative, but not around the middle of the field. It just put the defense of Florida State on their heels, and they've never been able to recover.
Bobby Bauch has not been 0-2 since his first year here at Florida State. Kubo with the kickoff. This is going to come down at the 10-yard line. Dawson crosses the 30 and out to the 31-yard line. Wayne Simmons, a freshman out of Hilton Head, South Carolina, on the special teams, making the tackle. And now Florida State has got to get something going. 14 plays, 80 yards, almost 7 minutes in the drive. And the Seminoles look for some continuity. Willis, we told you, 0 for 3 in the first quarter. Also was sacked once. They go running play to Chris Parker off the left side up near the 35-yard line. Yeah, this surprises me a little bit in the fact that the roles have flip-flopped in the early going of this ballgame. Florida State has run the ball more than I thought they would. Clemson certainly has thrown the ball more.
Clemson, I think when you said Peter Tom was 0-3, Clemson is playing the pass very well. In order to loosen them up, you have to just hit them in the inside of their defense, and that's why Chris Parker's running. He's a bigger back than Dexter Carter.
Willis up in the pocket, delivers incomplete. Reggie Johnson, the tight end, and a marker is down, and it appears pass interference will be called against the Tigers.
Reggie Johnson is about 250 pounds and runs a 4.5. Now, he's covered. Peter Tom shouldn't have thrown this thing. And I really don't know where the penalty is there. That's a tough call on Clemson. Now, Peter Tom, that's a bad decision by Peter Tom. That's double coverage. They had him bracketed. Maybe should have gone somewhere else.
Down at the 35-yard line. 2 catches for 45 yards and 1 touchdown last week against Southern Mississippi. This one is good for 19 yards.
And this is a nice throw. Dawsey here. Now you see Dexter Davis. He loses sight of where he is for an instant, and Peter Tom just rifles that thing in the area of Dawsey with pressure. This thing, that's slow-mo. That thing was rifled right over the head of Davis.
Kevin, if he had thrown it in the real catching zone, I think it would have been knocked down. He threw it high, which was perfect. Draw play to Parker. Right side, muscles his way down in the vicinity of the 29-yard line. LaVon Kirkland defensively, and now a marker comes down deep in the secondary. You could see the expression on number 80, Reggie Johnson's face. That would tell you it is against Florida State. Nope. Offsetting.
Comes Lassane across the middle, and watch Dexter Davis, number 9. I don't know. That's a no call as far as I'm concerned. That looked like WBF wrestling or something, and not a very good match. That's a tough call. That's another tough call on Clemson. That's 2.
I think the official is just trying to get both of their attention, saying next time we're going to get somebody. Willis delivers, intercepted. Up the near sideline is Simmons, and he will score. 73 yards. He has just picked off a pass and gone 73 yards for a touchdown, and Clemson has stunned this partisan house here in Tallahassee early. They are up 20-0. Gardaki's kick is good.
We talked about the bandit position. This is the bandit position. He's the backup bandit. Wayne Simmons all over the receiver. And what a reaction by a backup player, just a freshman. If John Johnson is the head bandit, Butch Cassidy, this is the Sundance Kid. Tremendous play by Simmons. Not much drop off. They say he's going to be a great one. The picture tells the story. Watch the reaction by number 49. This is supposed to be a safe play. He sees the ball, and look at the acceleration. Tremendous coverage, tremendous acceleration, and a touchdown.
It is the longest interception return for a touchdown ever by a Clemson Tiger. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Clemson versus Florida State, is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevy truck. By Levi's Dockers. If you're not wearing Dockers, you're just wearing pants. And by Georgia Pacific. Ask for Georgia Pacific. Building products with superior performance built in. Beautiful Tallahassee, Florida. And some Clemson fans that think that it is absolutely wonderful. 21-0.
Now, who's been walking on their face there?
Nobody so far.
Yeah, right.
Dawsey will return it from the end zone. Wayne Harps, you could hear the contact all the way up here. was the first man down of the special teams at Florida State will scrimmage from inside their own 15-yard line.
I'll tell you, this is the home of the Rooski. We ought to see a Rooski here pretty soon because nothing else is working.
Peter Tom Willis last week, 25 of 40, 269 yards, and a touchdown. And tonight, so far, the rhythms have not been there. Draw play to Moore. Out over the 30. Still on his feet. And he'll take it to the 24.
He ran over Dexter Davis. See, no, it wasn't Dexter Davis. It was James Lott, who was known as a big hitter. He was on the short end of a big hit there, number 5.
And it's Dexter Davis who was signaling to the sideline. Trainers come over that James Lott is injured. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley in Tallahassee, Florida. The meeting between number 16 and number 10. Florida State, the 16th ranked club, and Clemson, the number 10 ranked club, and the Tigers have come in here thinking this is their backyard. Quite frankly, other than bowl games, they've had a tough time playing in the state of Florida.
Yeah, but not Danny Ford. He's been 5-0 down here and in bowl games.
Robert O'Neill, who's a freshman, comes in replacing James Lott at free safety.
They'll test him.
Running play again. This time it's Chris Parker. Ed McDaniel defensively for the Tigers. Auburn now 35-0. They're only at halftime. Southern Mississippi. Hey, Mississippi State had a big win over Vandy last week. That's a good matchup.
Yeah, that is. Number 18 they moved up to after beating Florida State.
Oklahoma State has gone in front of Tulsa by 3 points. That one at halftime. And a timeout has been called by Florida State as Peter Tom Willis comes trotting over to the sideline, and he wants to talk it over with his offensive coordinator. So let's take a break. 21-0 our score. Lots of time left in this first half. 21-0 with 11:42 left until halftime. James Lott on the far sideline, and they are attending to his shoulder. We'll get you a further update. Terry Anthony tries to break off the tackle, and Dexter Davis finally holds him long enough and gets some help from a lot of friends. That's good for 12 yards, though. Dexter grabbed a hole. He just couldn't get him down, and it was hollering help. Somebody give me some help.
That's the job of a corner, is to grab a hole, and it's the job of everybody else to get over there and help him out.
Draw play. Parker out over the 45 and is out to the 47-yard line. John Johnson is the man who corralled him.
Seminoles pass to set up the run. They had a complete pass on the last down. Now this is man-to-man coverage on the outside. They just slip it to the back. Chris Parker's big enough and quick enough and start pushing people around in there. Now, don't be mistaken by the score. Florida State is very potent offensively, and when they get rolling, they'll score some points.
Straight ahead is Moore. He'll have the first down. Moore's a load at 6'1", 245 pounds, and he takes it across midfield. He's only a sophomore out of Miami. Hammond and Brewster combined to make the stop. By the way, the last interception returned for a touchdown against Florida State, 1987. It was the third game against Memphis State. Mike Nettles for 41 yards. This one here tonight, those 73 yards, which goes in the Clemson record books as far as the longest ever by a Clemson linebacker, by Simmons. receiver. We mentioned the injury to James Lott and the fact that Robert O'Neill, only a freshman, had taken his place. Well, he's a true freshman out of Clarkston, Georgia. If you want to know more about him, a second-team USA Today All-American, which says a lot about his credentials coming out of high school. However, Clarkston had never played before over 60,000 people as he's playing in front of tonight.
Yeah, these two programs, there's a few high school All-Americans out there. If you want to meet other high school All-Americans, come to one of these schools.
21-0. Clemson leads with just under 10 minutes until halftime. Tries to get outside in the left, and that's a good job defensively by number 92, Doug Brewster.
They will not have any success running laterally. What Moore needs to do at 245 pounds is run into the line. You don't want to run. Don't run parallel. Watch what happens here to Moore. Nothing inside, and then he does this. No, don't do that. Here they come, boy. Here they come. Like mosquitoes on a hot summer night, boy.
Danny Ford sat down on the field as his team worked out last night, loosened up rather, and talked about how very fast Florida State was and faster than Clemson.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, looking at tonight, I'm not sure about buying that. Dave Roberts, the tight end, jumps across as Willis was giving some kind of hand signals to his wide receivers.
Florida State, still third down.
One thing that really hurts Florida State is you look at Bobby Bowden. They love to run trick plays, but trick plays work best when your base offense is working. And Florida State has not established a base offense yet.
Well, for you Clemson backers, we are happy to report that James Lott apparently is okay and is back in the secondary at free safety.
He has his shirt on backwards, though.
Willis looking for 17. Gets his pass away, and it is caught. Oh, with a grab by Lassane. And they're going to say he caught it out of bounds. And I think you're going to see the argument by Florida State may be correct. Kev, he looked like he was in bounds and was knocked out of bounds.
Well, it depends on whether the official thinks his momentum would have taken him out of bounds. Now, from here, and we're on the other side of the field, it looked to me like he was carried out of bounds. There's no question. It's a brave throw, if not a smart one.
No.
By Peter Tom, and
that's a completed pass.
To me, I agree. That's a completed pass.
He's 2 yards in bounds at least. Charlie Ward to get away the punt.
Ward is capable of anything in punt formation.
Dexter Davis is the deep man. Going to let it bounce, and this one is rolling inside the 5, and the Seminoles will kill it at the 1.5. Well, you know, Bobby Bowden has said there's been a role reversal with his football program, and Odell Haggins explains exactly how.
Last week, we realized that we can't step on the field and just beat people. We got to go out and perform and play as a team to beat other people, opponents. And now we're at a stage that everybody is like shooting at us to beat us. It's not like we're like shooting at Nebraska or something like Oklahoma. People shoot at Florida State to beat them now.
I think that's a legacy of Deion Sanders, what he said. We can't just step on the field and beat people. Deion was able to do that. He had that great ability, but what he left behind maybe was the thought that the others could do it too, and they can't.
Pitch back goes to Henderson. Has 5, has 10, and he breaks it out of the 25, and Leroy Butler pushes him out of bounds at the 28-yard line. When you bring the defense up tight, that's exactly what happens when you break that first plane.
That should never happen to a team that has the defense that Florida State does, the athletes that they have. It should not happen. If this is not Leroy Butler on the outside, Henderson is gone. Tremendous blocking by the Clemson front line, you see, and now Henderson's in the clear. Butler's the fastest player in the secondary, runs a 4.38, and if not for him, it's another big touchdown.
You can see number 3, Leon Fowler, a freshman, came up and got caught in traffic. Freshman mistake, huh?
Yeah, well, you got to be careful down on the end line. You know they're going to run. Don't get too tight, as you said.
Morocco to throw. Up into the pocket, gets by one tackler, and he'll go down in his own across the 32-yard line. Calvin Smith was in the vicinity, but Morocco just wanted to get to the ground before he got his head handed to him.
Calvin Smith makes the defensive play for the Seminoles.
Morocco last week 8 of 14 for 99 yards. And you see in rushes what he has accomplished. Just over 4 yards. He's 5 of 6 throwing tonight for 89. Pitch to Allen. Breaks by one tackler and is out to the 38-yard line and very close to a Clemson first down. Bill Reagan, strong safety, is the man who got a hand up.
Offensive line of Clemson meeting very little resistance. Look how quickly they get off the ball, how much space they create. And how about this hole for Allen? Missed tackle. Anytime you see a lot of green, when a team is on offense, the offensive line is doing the job. They create space, and they did a nice job of it there.
Yep, the guy he put the move on was 36, Kelvin Allen, who's an awfully good one for the Seminoles. Allen in the deep draw. Going to be knocked down at the 39. That'll be a gain of 1. It was Oliver Strickland, big number 98, who reaches up and grabs a hole. Oliver is a redshirt freshman.
Clemson is one of the classic percentage teams you'll ever see in college football. They play percentage defense. They'll play prevent when they get ahead, and you'll see a lot of that in the second half. And their offense is almost exactly the same way. They'll sit on the ball, and they won't take a chance of turning over the ball and giving up an easy score.
21-0. Tigers on top. 6.5 minutes left until halftime. Morocco gonna keep it, and he will bring it out across the 43 to the 44. And it looked for the world as though he was dead in the water, and they'd be looking at 3rd down and 10. As it is, it's only going to be 3rd down and 5.
Morocco's an interesting story. He's a quarterback that left camp for Clemson early in his career. Let's take a look at the passing, 5 for 6 passing from inside his own 40. That's outside his 40. 40-yard line out, and he has not attempted a pass inside his own 40, back up to his own goal line.
Morocco gonna be knocked down for a loss, and I think he was trying to throw a shuttle pass, wasn't it?
Or he was just coming out here to run the ball. Remember, they ran a quarterback draw on the last play. They'll do a lot of things that look like pass, but they will not take a chance.
Junior Hall was cutting in front of him, though, and as he squared his shoulders back toward the line of scrimmage, it appeared that's what he was going to do. And it's going to be 4th down. One kick for 49 yards so far tonight for Gardaki. Buckley, the deep man for Florida State. Kicks it away from Buckley. Doesn't get good distance, but it'll go out of bounds at the 26-yard line. So let's take a break. 5:05 left until halftime. 21-0 Tigers. Just over 5 minutes left until halftime. Clemson 21-0. Well, the student athlete of the game is brought to you by the U.S. Army. Get an edge on life. Be all you can be. Tonight's recipient, Clemson tight end Stacy Field. Stacy is an engineering major and a 3.1 grade point average. Last year made the All-ACC All-Academic team. There he is in the sideline. Seminoles from their own 26. Willis, play action, going to go long for Anthony, and it's incomplete. Dexter Davis had him covered like a blanket, and in fact it was Davis who had a better shot at the football than did Terry Anthony.
It's a classic example of what I was talking about earlier about Clemson, how they'll play percentage defense. Look at them backing up. Back. They're going to cover that deep pass. Peter Tom, he has some room underneath, but he's going to go for the long one. As Ron said, Clemson in better position to make that play than Florida State. Now, they're going to give up the short one with less than 5 minutes to go in the half, but they're not giving up any long passes.
Number 1, Shannon Baker, comes into the lineup for Florida State. We saw him on that one earlier play back in the first quarter, and they threw enough to him, and now Peter Tom Willis wants another timeout. So that's 2 for Florida State in the half. And let's take a break. 21-0. The Tigers on top of the Seminoles. We'll be right back. College football Saturday. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kylan. Tallahassee, Florida. And there you see the verdict is not out, but it's not good right now for the home team. Willis has it complete to Dawsey, brings it up the sideline to the 45-yard line. 18 yards. And Kev, one of the things that we talked about a couple of timeouts ago, and you just said, of all the teams in America that you can't go to sleep on, regardless of how big your lead is this ball club in gold helmets.
Classic example of what they can do. Peter Tom with a strong arm, and this is what Clemson has given him. The question here is, why doesn't Dawsey go out of bounds? I know you get timeout for a first down, but you would think he'd have just turned that. He was dead. He could have just turned it out of bounds.
Willis, other side of the field, has it complete to Dawsey again. His third catch of the night. Fights off a tackle, and he'll go down at the 38 of Clemson. That's Dexter Davis who makes the tackle. Mississippi State has gone in front of the Golden Eagles.
Has to be a letdown after the big win last week. Has to be.
Second period, that one in Lubbock tonight. No score. Northwestern trailing Duke.
The Dukies, they can score on anybody.
And Terry Bowden, his ball club Sanford, is down 21-7. I hope you got to see the feature story on game day today of the Bowden family. It's really interesting, the 4 sons. On the 38, Willis, they have run a guard eligible on a trick play inside the 20. It's Hayward Haynes. Who said the Ruski is dead? Inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. 21 yards on the play. And Coach Ford coming down saying to his defense, be calm.
Yeah, settle down. Well, you knew it was coming. You just didn't know where it was coming from. That guy, I'll tell you, they fool our camera people, and I'll tell you his honest truth, he fooled me too. I was going to say Peter Tom got tackled with the ball.
That's Florida State's longest run tonight by Haynes.
That's as it should be. The guard should be the leading rusher. Look out.
Setting up the screen. Complete to Bennett at the 15, down to the 10-yard line.
Hey, we'll show you what we picked up on the Ruski. This was the camera Ruski, too. Watch the center and the guard. They're going to lay the ball on the ground. Hey, they're hiding the ball. And you see, it's behind the center. And you see Haywood, he gets up and he heads stage right. Is that stage right? Oh, that's stage left. Yeah.
That's stage left. Peter Tom, 5 of 12, 1 interception. Pressure is on, gets it away, and he just throws it away. Edgar Bennett, the closest man to it. But one of the reasons for his lack of success tonight is Bodine was on him. He's either had somebody on his body or hands in his face on almost every play.
Bodine, just a little guy at the nose guard, and what Danny Ford says, he finds a way to get it. That's a perfect nose guard move, a spin move. 235-pounder is loose playing linebacker now, and whoop, a little bit there, a little left jab.
3:16 left until halftime. Clemson 21 at Florida State with a third down.
Tight end was open last play, Ron.
Straight ahead with a running play. Inside the 5 and down to the 4 is Dexter Carter. John Johnson saved a touchdown.
Great call. They picked up the first down on that, too. You get the feeling these people don't care if they win. They just want to see some kind of Ruski here.
No, I know they care.
Yeah, I know
about winning.
I know they do, too. But I know they love their Ruskis.
Willis on the reverse out, throws it, almost intercepted as Reggie Johnson, the intended receiver, had looked at the a number of white jerseys. You think Clemson hasn't been well schooled.
He was in if he ran it on this one, Ron. He was wide open. He had tight end in his mind, but all he has to do is turn it on right there. Here's the coverage. It's not a good throw. There was inside coverage too, but had he turned this thing on, he was into the end zone.
Bowden paces, his ball club trailing 21-0. Peter Tom Willis, 5 of 14, 1 interception for 70 yards. In the end zone, incomplete, looking for Dave Roberts, and the marker comes in. Pass interference is going to be called.
Yeah, but when you watch Dave Roberts on this play, what you're going to see is first offensive interference and then maybe defensive interference. Roberts is the one that makes contact.
Well, let's see. That may be who the call is against.
Pass interference. Clemson on the 2-yard line. First down.
Watch 83, Dave Roberts, 238 pounds. He's going to slip the block and watch him make contact. Boom. That's kind of half and half, but then it's holding. It's holding. Good call. Good call.
Good call. Dutch Taylor is the man defensively.
He didn't look like he was trying to get away from that guy, though, did he?
So the ball at the 2-yard line and a new set of downs for Florida State.
There's a load of Clemson people in that end zone.
Straight ahead, Bennett is caught with a head-high tackle and is knocked down at the 1. Vince Taylor is the man who grabbed him, and then Dexter Davis came up.
Fastest group of linebackers they've ever had at Clemson, and you're going to see the speed. Watch how quickly they react. Look at Taylor, 58. Took a false step, got back, and still made the tackle on the fullback a yard short of the end line. Anything lateral, Florida State's not going to have success with.
He might have been fortunate to hold on to the football, as ferocious as the tackle was. Bennett to the 1-foot line. Brewster and Simmons coming up to make the hit for Clemson White.
Goal line defense is the most fun and the easiest to play. All you have to do is strap it up and come, especially when they're going to run a fullback.
And Peter Tom Willis has just taken the 3rd Florida State timeout of this first half with 1 minute and 40 seconds left until halftime.
This is what Clemson lives for. This is what their program is all about. Here they come. And they're loving it and enjoying it. Those are even fun when the guy scores.
You can see Vince Taylor, number 58. In fact, Clemson was looking for the dive, and that's what Taylor appeared to be there to cover. Coming up at halftime, it's the USF&G halftime report. Bob Carpenter. And Bob will have scores from around the country and also highlights of today's big games. Week number 2. Bobby Bowden talks it over with Peter Tom Willis. He's a senior out of Morris, Alabama.
They tried to run it in straight ahead. They must be deciding that they can't do that, so what do? I don't think you can go laterally. It's either got to be a pass or I tried the play that would have worked was the naked bootleg by Peter Tom. But Clemson could be looking for it now.
Also, you look at a situation, Cap, where for Florida State down 21-0, this is definitely 4-down territory.
They just had 2, and they didn't get any more.
Well, what I'm saying is,
yeah, that's happened. I agree with you.
3rd and goal.
High formation. You watch the fullback.
Carter, touchdown Tennessee, Florida, and that thing went right through the top as the Seminoles get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. Carter with his 3rd touchdown of the season. Bill Mason tries to cut the Clemson lead to 14.
As soon as they snap this ball, you have to follow Paul Moore. He's the fullback, number 32. Everybody should be headed that way, but they don't. They hesitate just a little bit. You see Moore leading the play, and just enough of a crack to get in the end zone. Well, they ought to give him 8 points for that touchdown. That was a hard-earned touchdown.
94 seconds showing on the clock until intermission time. A lot of momentum could come from that. Chief Osceola and Renegade down on the far end of the field. Don't forget, ESPN's College Football Saturday continues next week, and there's a triple header. First game, 12:30. It's an Ivy League battle between Princeton and Dartmouth. Then at 4 o'clock, the Golden Bears of California will travel to Miami to take on the 3rd-ranked Hurricanes, and they won big today over Wisconsin. Then at 7:30, Cam and I will be down in the Bayou Country. 16th-ranked Florida State against 21st-ranked LSU. Death Valley awaits Bobby Bowden's crew. And I know for all you people up in South Carolina, yours also is Death Valley. And last night, as we talked to the production meeting, probably what somebody should do is schedule LSU and Clemson, play it at a neutral site, and the winning team gets to hold on to the call of Death Valley for their stadium.
I don't know if I'd like to be at that game. There'd be bloodshed at that game.
Going to bound into the end zone and go out the back as Terry Allen watched it go out the base of the end zone. So Clemson will take it at the 20, and take a look at the drive, and Kevin described it best.
Yeah.
That's a blood and guts drive right there. 11 plays, 74 yards.
And a Ruski in the middle.
Offside against the kicking team, Florida State.
Now let's see if Coach Ford wants him to do it over again. With nobody touching the ball and going out the back of the end zone, and you can see by his signal, he said, yep, let's make him do it again. Thought it was interesting last night as we talked with him also. I said, had you just as soon that Florida State had won that opening game over Mississippi Southern? And he said, you bet, because they are not going to be in a very good mood.
They weren't in a good mood before this game. They're really not in a good mood now.
I started to say Clemson is not in a very good mood tonight, offensively and defensively.
Well, special teams have been a nightmare. As we come to the end of the first half of the second game, they've just murdered Florida State. The opening kickoff run back, they really need to cover this kickoff. Maybe that's why Danny Ford said, let them kick it again. Their record isn't too good.
Number 9 is Richie Andrews, Jr., whose home is Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He'll get another shot at it here. Special teams break the huddle. Good point that Bobby Bowden made is that last year's very fine special team, many of those kids have now gone into starting roles, and he said he thought they had been hurt by that because there were so many new faces on special teams.
To the climate down here, it's very difficult to play on all the teams, so you need to have a transition, but their younger people haven't done the job.
At the 27. Doug waited for a moment, tried to make the outside move, and then Howard Dinkins for Florida State comes over to make the stop. So it's 21-7 as the Seminoles finally get on the scoreboard. No timeouts remaining for either ball club.
I wonder if Danny feels obligated to run a trick play here.
I would think it'd be extremely important to maybe just not necessarily pick up a first down, but don't let anything big happen for Florida State, because they already got a little momentum off that 11-play drive. Maybe more than enough. Pitch to Allen. Has 5, has 10, kiss him goodbye, or at the 30, the foot race is on, and he'll score. 73 yards. can safely say by that picture right there that old Mo decided that she was going to jump back to the all-white uniforms here with the orange headgears as Terry Allen with his third touchdown of the night and the second Clemson score from 73 yards. Gardaki's extra point is up and good.
This kid's been first team ACC for 2 years. There's nothing fancy about this. This is a pitch. It's a toss sweep. They just caved in the inside. You see player there, number 44, gets caught inside, and that was the key to the play. And now it's a foot race. Butler having to come from way on the other side, trying again to run him down. Terry Allen, they say, is faster this year, and I guess that proves it. Here it is from the inside. Now watch how they cave in the corner. Right there, a bad decision. As defense tried to come inside, when you're this close to the half, you have to contain it. He got himself caught inside, and that was the difference in the play. Then it's a foot race.
Leroy Butler giving chase, and the number 44, John Weich, who got caught inside in traffic. And the Clemson Tigers, 28-7, they put a quiet on this mostly partisan house here in Tallahassee for the moment.
Weiss is a safety, and that's why they call them safeties, because they're supposed to keep everything safe, and to get caught inside on a toss sweep that close to the line of scrimmage, well, you see what can happen.
Kubo with the kickoff for Clemson. The bounds, and they will do it again. They'll back it up to the 30-yard line. Bob Carpenter standing by, and he will be here with you at a halftime after this 1:16 showing on the clock is run off. He'll have highlights and scores from today's big action in college football. Coach Ford pacing on the sideline, and from looking at that picture right there, you might think that his ball club was on the reverse end of this 28-7 game. We talked about off the top the importance of this game nationally.
Well, he knows better than to smile. Again, they're very, very explosive, and this team's been down before. Remember what we talked about, them being more comfortable maybe in the role of an underdog? Well, they can talk about that at halftime and come out, because that's what they are now.
Set it on the tee. And of course, this is the only place that one can be used in college football now. Allen now 109 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dawson came within a couple of men of breaking it, and Shannon Baker, I beg your pardon, out to the 40-yard line. ESPN's presentation of CFA football continues tomorrow night. It's a special edition. The defending WAC champion Wyoming Cowboys will take on the Falcons of Air Force. Tim Brando and Vince Dooley will be on hand for that one. 8:15 Eastern time. We'll see if D. Dowis can do it again. He had 249 yards his first ball game out this year. Willis in the pocket. Incomplete at the 38, Ronald Lewis, who has been silenced so far tonight, the intended receiver.
They call the receivers for Florida State. There's Allen. Great run. Tremendous player. 3 touchdowns. As you look at his stats, they call the receivers for Florida State the Fabulous Four. They ought to start calling the Clemson secondary the More Fabulous Four, because they're doing a heck of a job.
Willis gets the pass off to Anthony at the 50-yard line, and it's going to be knocked down by James Lott. 56 seconds left until halftime. We saw that graphic just a moment ago on Allen, 109 yards. Florida State has been held to 59 yards rushing in the first half.
40 of those belong to a guard. I think that's great. I love that. Willis
inside the 40-yard line, Lawrence Stassi. Florida State continues to move the ball as Davis comes over to make the tackle. No timeouts remaining for the Seminoles.
A team this sophisticated in a passing game should not need timeout.
Sideline route incomplete. That's Dalsey, the intended receiver. Jerome Henderson was there to apply the hit. Dalsey comes right off the field, and number 7, Ronald Lewis, replaces him. They almost have an open substitution between themselves, the 4 receivers for Florida State.
Clemson is giving them the middle of the field. They're contesting those sideline patterns and anything deep outside, but they will give them the middle of the field. Now, that's the problem for Florida State. Unless they get a first down, the clock will continue to run.
Willis, ball is batted down at the line of scrimmage, and I think David Davis is the man who got a hand on it, as Levon Kirkland also was coming in, but it looked like Davis, number 97, who got an arm up. Willis now 7 of 19 for 94 yards.
Now watch the orange hats, and they're just coming. Peter Tom taking a real deep drop. 3 people got to him on that pass rush, and I'll tell you, the secondary was doing their job too. The coverage was excellent. So Clemson playing real fine team defense.
For the first down, Reggie Johnson at the 22-yard line. 14 yards on the pass, and that time, and they're going to tack on a personal foul as Willis was roughed after he delivered the ball.
Roughing the passer against Clemson, half the distance to the goal, first down.
You see Danny not too happy. Watch 44, Levon Kirkland. He jumps, and no, that's not necessary, Levon. When you have an aggressive defense, sometimes that happens, but at this point, you don't want to give Florida State a chance to score.
Clock is running. I'm not sure Florida State, now Willis sees it. Over the middle, incomplete. Carter, the intended receiver, and he almost had his head taken off by McDaniel. And the clock runs out.
No way, the clock did not run out. There was a second remaining. Clemson's leaving the field. No way.
The officials are now waving for Clemson to come back on the field. Florida State, after the penalty was marked off in the huddle and the clock started, they didn't see it. Peter Tom Willis all of a sudden boosted his center and said, hey, we got to get up here and get a snap off.
That clock at the end of the half did not run out. When Carter got level, there was 2 seconds left. You see, the crowd knows it.
Will be put back on the clock.
Here, let's take a look. There's your clock. Great shot, guys. Here's your hit. The ball's down. Now watch the referee. 2. That's the whistle. 1. There's a second left. Talk about a Ruski. Danny Ford tried the biggest Ruski in history.
Clemson coming back out of the tunnel, and Bill Mason will come on to attempt the field goal for Florida State. This one is going to be placed down at the 18-yard line. I'm sure the concern for Florida State is to make sure as the players come back on the field, or for Clemson, I should say, that the correct team is on the field.
locker room. Just kidding, Ron.
28-yard attempt.
I've never seen that before, ever.
He is good. Now they head to the locker room. As Coach Ford is back out talking with the officials again, you could see on the replay, and what he is being explained is that 1 second should have been put back on the clock. And according to our replay, the officials were so very correct. So it's halftime. 28 Clemson, Florida State 10. Let's take a break, and let's go to Bob Carpenter. Bob?
All right, Ron and Kevin, thank you very much. Let's go back to Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley in Tallahassee.
Thanks so much, Bob Carpenter. The moon at about half right now, and the Florida State fans thinking that, well, they got a little momentum at the end of the first half. Take a look at a strange ending to the first 30 minutes. Kevin?
Last play should have been the last play. Clemson thought it was. Dexter Carter's going to get nailed right here. The ball's loose. Now watch the official. He blows the whistle, 1 second left, and he waves it off. But now Danny Ford, the clock continued to run. Danny Ford said 0. Let's go, he said. Let's get out of here before they kick a field goal. Turned out the official reversed it. They gave him the extra second. Florida State kicked the field goal. We have a 28-10 score. And Danny, as you can see, is not happy.
18-point difference as we open the second half. And the Seminoles with the dual deep backs. This is going to be Baker. 1 yard deep. Wayne Simmons makes the tackle as he comes out across the 20. Take a look at the first half stats. Some of those numbers are a bit deceiving. 261 yards to 171. Probably the stat that's not up there. You look at passes attempted and completed to the 21 that Peter Tom has thrown. Willis has had a hand in his face on at least 18 of those with somebody hanging on his body. I would think that's one of the things that Florida State said at halftime simply has to improve.
I think they're going to run the ball. They need to run the ball against Clemson here.
Dexter Carter takes it off the left side for a couple. That's Otis Moore. Florida State's first half possession chart. -5 punt, -11 punt. You see at this juncture they've only run 13 plays, then 21. Interception for the touchdown, and the 74 yards for a touchdown on the next possession, and then 49 yards and the field goal just before halftime. Willis on the play action. Pass is caught by Lewis. Breaks off one tackle and will be knocked out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Didn't have a catch in the first half. Has one now.
A little bit of play action, and you're going to see a Clemson defender.
Otis Moore.
Otis Moore on the corner. Now what you're going to see, good play action here. As you can see, fooled everybody. Moore didn't know what he wanted to do. He didn't know whether he wanted to come up and make the interception or stay back and keep him from running a touchdown. It was a critical error, and they almost broke a big one.
Lewis again. Cuts it up inside the 40-yard line. Arlington Nunn makes the tackle. Let me clear one thing. I steered you wrong. I thought you were talking about who had applied the pressure. That was Otis Moore. I believe it was Dexter Davis who was out there in the cover.
I thought they'd switch shirts there in the first half. Clemson again, a percentage defense. They're giving them the short stuff, and Florida State, very sophisticated, will recognize it immediately and go for those short underneath routes.
28-10. Seminoles opening drive, second half. Willis into the flat, has it complete to Edgar Bennett out of the backfield. John Johnson made the tackle, but not before he had gained 11. Coach Bowden given to pacing all during the ball game, but when you're down the way his ball club was down in this first half, maybe a little bit more grass eaten up this evening.
You give that man 20 minutes to think of something over halftime, and I'd be frightened when he came out.
Bennett straight ahead inside the 30, and he's going to have the Florida State first down. Kirkland is the man who has him to the ankles. Down underneath that stack also is Bodine.
Right side of this Florida State line, Mike Morris and John Brown are big guys, and they're starting to knock people over backwards, and Bennett is no Petunia himself. He's 222 pounds. Now, the one thing an 18-point deficit will do to you, it'll make you mad. And this is a proud team, and they're mad.
Willis gets the pass away, and it's caught by Anthony. And Kevin, you're going to see on the replay, Willis threw it between the defender's hands. He had somebody in his face again.
All right, from field level, Peter Tom, exactly as you said, Ron, and this is a good pass. The only one who can get it is Anthony, and he does.
Not quite enough for the first down. Going to be about a half-yard shy, so the Seminoles with a down to play with, so to speak. Caught by Dawson. Enough for the first down, and then he gets kissed down hard. Dexter Davis is the man who posted him, and then it was Arlington Nunn, and you could hear the wrap up here. Really put the headgear on him. First and 10, Florida State. Running play. Dexter Carter tries to get outside, and he's muscled down at the 9-yard line. James Lott got the tackle and lost his headgear at the same time. One of the tough things for Dexter Carter, he's only 5'9", 172 pounds, and when you try to start muscling, particularly against a muscle defensive club like Clemson, that's a tough chore. Bobby Bowden was worried about that.
Not in there for his strength, he's in there for his speed, but they ran him down on that play.
Willis throws it away. It's Otis Moore, the senior, home Augusta, Georgia, was applying pressure again.
Wayne Simmons, the young linebacker, holding up the tight end, and that's where they want to go. Get him loose in the middle. Simmons all over him and then covers underneath. Nice job by a young linebacker. The Bandit. He stole a pass route there.
I think it's the first incomplete pass by Willis in the second half. He's 13 of 27 now. Reverse, Lewis. Down to the 3.
This is a tough play against the goal line defense because they're going to penetrate. This play had no right working. It took too long. Lewis did a great job of stumbling, and that's what caused the Clemson tackler to miss him, and then a gutty try for the goal line, and it's a first down.
First and goal. The ball just outside the 2-yard line. Carter at the 1. Brewster made the tackle. As you could see, Florida State faking the reverse. And Carter just needed a little bit larger body to get it in there.
scored going left.
Bennett. Paul Moore. Nailed at the line of scrimmage by Vince Taylor.
Any linebacker worth their salt is going to be boring a hole in the fullback. Number 32, Paul Moore. And Taylor's a fine linebacker. Watch 58. He's not thinking about anything else except kissing that guy, and he did it. Nice play.
You remember the discussion and what I mentioned the last time they were down here on goal line defense is that was the same move he made before. He's got the dive back. So let's take a break as Florida State calls a timeout. Inches away, they trail by 18. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Clemson versus Florida State, is brought to you by Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan, and by Lee, the brand that fits. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley back in Tallahassee, Florida. Third down, Florida State, and the ball is about 12 inches away. Florida State, the offense will stay on the field and they will go for a two-point conversion. They have the option, Kevin, of moving the ball to either hash mark or to leave it right in center field, and that is exactly where they're going to leave it, right in the middle of the turf. Bodine spoiled the two-point conversion. As you could see, Peter Tom Willis looking at one, then at two, and then at a third receiver.
And if Bodine picks that ball clean from Willis, he can go the other way. Remember, there's a new rule from last year. He could have scored, and that was very close to that. Okay, here's a touchdown. Now, Paul Moore, 240 pounds of this. It's a good thing he had an extra burger for dinner, because that's what he made it by. That's a good power run for a yard. Clemson just can't get up there quick enough. Moore nice and low. All you get is headgear and shoulders, and that was a big TD. But the two-point conversion was essential because it would have made it a 10-point game. Now, Peter Tom, the defense again, Clemson's played brilliantly all night. The coverage is there, but watch his hand where the ball is. If that ball was picked clean, they go the other way. It's 2 points. They can score on an extra point.
Ball club comes out of the locker room and takes the second half kickoff and drives it in for the touchdown. They missed the two-point conversion, but still, this means that the last two possessions they have put 9 points on the scoreboard.
It also means that the Clemson offense can't sit on the ball.
To kick off for the Seminoles. 12-point ball game, 28-16. Jeff Thomas at the 3. All the way out to the 41-yard line as McCorvey makes the tackle. Last week, Southern Mississippi averaged ball possession at the 36-yard line, Kev, on returns. And you can see Coach Bowden is very unhappy with special teams again.
Watch the right side of your screen, the left side. Look at these guys. They're all out of their lane. Look at the right side. There's not anybody to even block. I mean, that's basic. That's basic special teams. You got to keep an arm's distance. You got to stay in your lanes.
Throw, dumps it out, complete at the 45 to McFadden. Be a gain of 4. 13 plays, 77 yards. Moore with a 1-yard run. 6 minutes and 14 seconds is what was eaten up in the drive. Bobby Bowden was extremely chapped after the kickoff return. That man knows that his ball club needs to just play steady, consistent football. Allen bumped out of bounds after a gain of maybe 1. Leroy Butler got out there to make the hit. Possession chart in the first half by Clemson. 8 plays, 53 yards, a touchdown. 4 plays, 6 yards, and a punt in the second. Then they drove 80 for another touchdown. And 73 yards on their last possession of the half. First down as McFadden collided with his quarterback momentarily. Morocco couldn't get out of the way, and listen to this crowd with the 4th down situation. An average of 41 yards, his longest 49. As the left footer angles it to the far sideline. Buckley makes the catch, and Clemson took a chance. The player was inside the 2-yard barrier. Good for 33. Shane Scott of the tackle. Let's catch our breath. We'll be back to Tallahassee in a moment. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley in Tallahassee, Florida. In the capital city right now can hear this all over as the hometowners are making some noise. Willis dumps it off. That's Moore. Breaks off 1 tackle. Still on his feet for a couple of more, and Wayne Simmons finally corrals him. Brewster also helping on the play. Cam, one of the things you have to say about Wayne Simmons, only a freshman from Hilton Head, but good heavens, he's not playing like a freshman.
No, they're very high on him. They think he's going to be a great player. The problem is they have a lot of great players in that position. Clemson's defense has played a magnificent game, and they really have.
Near the 25. Now for Florida State, this is going to bring up a 3rd down. They'll need about 2.5 yards.
One of the problems that Florida State has is running wide, and this is why. Look at the depth of the inside linebackers. Unless they establish the middle run. See how he can run laterally? Brewster is able to come up and make those wide plays because Florida State has not established the fullback inside, so they're laying off playing soft and they're running these guys down. They have to hit it up inside.
Gets it away, and it is caught by Johnson. That man showed me a great deal on that play. The safety blitzed, and they were all over it.
There's Johnson fighting, and PT in the backfield. Peter Tom hits him right in the chest under duress. That's a little bit of a late hit. Now watch what Peter Tom does with a blitz. We've got you. No. And then off balance, he hits him right between the 8 and the O. That's some pretty good offense.
On first down. Has a man. Complete. Dawsey.
Let's hear, because here come the Seminoles. A soft zone by Clemson, and Peter Tom again right over the short man and underneath the deep man. Just terrific pass.
Good protection, throws it complete to the same. Gets by one tackler and is finally going to be stopped at the 37-yard line. Good heavens. Florida State, as you can see, Coach Ford on the far sideline clapping his hands, does not want to panic, but he understands, just as Kevin stated very correctly a moment ago, the Seminoles are on the attack in the second half. Moore breaks it up the middle, fumbles the ball, and Clemson recovers. James Lott, after a brilliant run inside the 20-yard line, and the Seminoles shoot themselves in the foot.
Exactly what they had to do. Here's your linebacker sitting deep, and they're going to run the fullback right up inside. Now watch. They get blocked 3 yards back of the line of scrimmage. They never even got a shot at the fullback, and that's exactly what Florida State has to do. But he drops the ball, and Lott comes along and picks it up. But they've established it. If they can hold him, they've still got an offense that's working.
Pitch back to Allen. Has 4, has 5 very tough yards on the left side. Odell Higgins is the man who made the hit in this crowd. I don't see how Morocco heard the signal. Southern Mississippi trailing Mississippi State. Texas Tech leading Arizona. That's in the third period. Auburn, that's final against Pacific. And Tulsa, that's final now. Tulsa by 10 over Oklahoma State. Enough for the Clemson first down. Kirk Carruthers came up and really put a blow on him, but the youngster turned it up, and that will quiet the crowd momentarily as the change will move across the way.
Clemson is a classic conservative team. One pass from inside their own 40, 5 for 6 from outside the 40. They've thrown one pass since the first quarter. They will sit on a lead, and it will get them in trouble against this team.
Counter the option. Morocco Keith has 5, has 10, 15, and counted off at 20. McCorvey saved a possible touchdown as they countered the option and came to the open side of the field.
Exactly what the Seminoles want him to do. They want the quarterback to run it, but they overplay it. Fullback doesn't have it. They're going to overplay the pitch man. See? And here comes Morocco. Not a great runner, but there's no one there, and he's able to get upfield. And Clemson, to their credit, able to run the ball when they haven't passed but one time since the first quarter.
Fullback up the middle, McFadden. Inside the 45 to the 43. That's a gain of 7.
They say he's an All-American, number 53, Odell Higgins. He must hold his ground against the Clemson running game. Double teamed on roller skates. He's gone, and here comes the quick hitter. He has to hold up the center. Tough to do against two guys. Either that drop to the ground, but don't get moved off the line.
Henderson of the ball game gets the pitch. Turns it back upfield. Dodge made the tackle and is still on the ground. Shake it up a little bit. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley at Florida State University, Tallahassee, Florida. 1:50 left in this third period. 12-point ball game, and the Seminoles came out charging, and a fumble just a moment ago by Moore. Into the drive, that looked as though it was headed for score. Morocco, look in pass, complete to Fletcher at the 20 and inside the 15. 24 yards. Kevin Grant made the tackle, the senior out of Ocala.
This guy's been doing this since I've known him, and that's way back in the early 80s. Inside his own 40, no pass. Inside your 40, they'll do just about anything. To his credit, everyone in the country knows it, and he makes it work. Establish the running game, make them play it, bang, hit that pass.
Option play, pitch back to Allen, great defense as Carruthers comes across and knifes him down for the loss. After that last catch by Fletcher, Kevin, that's 3 for him on the night for 81 yards. He had 1 catch for 19 in that opening game against Furman.
Got to stop the option to the wide side of the field, to Clemson's left.
Pitch to Allen. Tries to turn the corner, squirts by a couple of tacklers. Carruthers finally got him by the ankles, but he got 5 yards that I have a feeling Coach Bowden will say when they look at the video on Monday he should not have had.
Well, what makes Terry Allen so great? Well, he's a slasher, not real fast, but look. He finds a way to get through the defense and pick up the yards when there's nothing there. That's a tremendous run from that kid.
Clemson is going to let the clock run down at the end of the 3rd period as Terry Allen has just picked up 123 yards on his 18th carry. So let's take a break. Clemson leading by 12 as we head to the 4th. We'll be right back. Ron Franklin and Kevin Kiley. Hope you're enjoying this one tonight. 12-point ball game. Clemson dominated in the first half. Florida State came back. They turned it over, and now the Tigers trying to retaliate. Allen hit in the backfield, breaks off 1 tackle, but he will not get by Higgins. Odell Higgins grabbed a hold and is going to knock him down for maybe a yard loss. Higgins said, hey, I finally got a situation where I didn't have 2 folks trying to block me down the field with orange headgear.
Can you believe that Danny Ford, he set up for a field goal there, 3rd and 7. I told you he'd rather have them all pulled out before he'll throw a pass. And he's got all his teeth, folks. He hadn't had any pulled out.
Gardocki, the left footer, 29-yard attempt. He is perfect. So Gardocki from 29 yards, and Clemson extends their lead to 31-16. Hammered down at the 21 by Kendall Jackson out of LaGrange, Georgia. 10 plays, 71 yards, and most importantly, using up almost 5 minutes on the drive with Gardocki's 29-yard field goal. Tom Willis, the numbers on him now, 210 yards. He's 17 of 31 with 1 interception. Sets deep, under pressure again, and he's going to be slung down by Simmons. This one so far. Turnovers, and those 2 have accounted for 10 Clemson points. And the one thing that is not there on the storyline is a relentless defense. The front 7, just as you saw on that play, has not given Willis very much time tonight. Draw play to Moore. Wrapped up in the backfield. Bennett, I beg your pardon, and Vance Hammond comes across to make the hit. Vance 6'7", 295 pounds, only a junior.
Tallest lineman ever to play at Clemson, number 90. Hard to even get in a crouch. He feels it. There's no pressure. They're not trying to block him. That's just good coaching. He felt the draw, and he went out and got it. Too predictable a play.
Reggie Johnson, the tight end, comes into the ballgame, replacing Dave Roberts, bringing the play. Willis dumps it over the middle, and he drops it. The man we were just talking about, Reggie Johnson, and he had him open, would not have been enough for the first down. Vance Hammond, who made the last tackle on the running play, one play ago, was applying the pressure. First punt for Florida State in the second half. Ward's kick, it's a line drive. Lott on the fair catch, and they will have it in great field position at the 47-yard line. Only 33 yards in the kick. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. ESPN's College Football Saturday, Clemson versus Florida State, is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch. We brew our fine quality beers to be enjoyed responsibly. Remembered, know when to say when. Osceola trying to get his guys going. Henderson turns the corner, breaks it out, finally pushed out of bounds by Dodge, but not before he has the first down and about 7 yards more. The sideline and some of the players beyond that. It put Ford came down to intercede for a moment. Allen looked as though for a moment he was going to break it big, and he's tackled at the 30-yard line by Leroy Butler.
Center Hank Phillips, Eric Harmon's the right guard, Stacy Long is the right tackle. Watch what they do here. Just shut down the Seminoles on the right side, and here comes Terry Allen. That's been the story all night. A tremendous job by the offensive line at Clemson.
31-16, Clemson leads. Look-in pass, it is caught by Fletcher. 13. 4 receptions now for Fletcher. They've all been huge. Arizona has come back and tied Texas Tech. Oregon at now final as they win over the Golden Bears and win big.
Oregon State by 7 over Stanford before the half. Virginia Tech and South Carolina tie. That's a big tie for Virginia Tech. Good program at South Carolina.
Pitch back to Allen. Tries to turn the corner, and he just goes airborne. Inside the 10, Carruthers made the hit on him. Haggins was also down there to get a piece of him. As Allen saw the end of the road, he said, I'll just go airborne and pick up whatever I can. He's going to wind up with about 4.
As long as I've been following in Clemson and that man, they've always had a fine offensive line. And as I said earlier in the game, rather have an offensive line than a quarterback. How many coaches will tell you that? He made it work tonight. Outmanned them. Outmanned Florida State.
For about 1 at left tackle as Kevin Grant steps up into the hole and makes the initial contact for the Seminoles. And for Clemson, I think you'll watch Morocco keep an eye on the 25-second clock and run it as far down on each snap as he possibly can. Game clock is about to go under 10 minutes.
They don't need a touchdown. A field goal makes it an 18-point game. You need 3 scores to win this game if you're Florida State, and Danny is not going to put it up.
They fake the pitch reverse. Morocco keeps it. Oh, does he get nailed as Keith Carter puts a headgear on him. Also, Joe Ostaszewski, number 75.
Well, one of the problems, they haven't been getting any penetration from the defensive line. They did there. They were able to mess it up a little here from the side. You see the defensive line takes a gap. And they also cover that reverse man. It was going to be a reverse. Florida State reacts and are able to stop it. But Clemson really, for the most part, just wanted field position. This is a big field goal.
26-yard attempt. He's already hit one from 29. And the Clemson Tigers go on top by 18 with just over 9 minutes to play. Taken by Baker at the 5. Ended up at about the 21-yard line. Markers from all over. Some extra activities going on. The officials sort this one out. Take a look at Clemson's schedule and who they have after tonight.
Virginia Tech just tied South Carolina, but you wouldn't consider that program to be the equal of Clemson. Maryland used to be a power in the ACC. They are now 0-2. They lost to Virginia today. Duke can score, but defensively they do not have
personal foul.
They do not have the men to really, the manpower to hold up against Clemson. Virginia has beaten Penn State, and they could be a dark horse there. NC State, the co-favorite in the conference, but had a lot of trouble with Georgia Tech. Wake Forest is not in Clemson's class. North Carolina won big today. South Carolina would do anything to beat Clemson, and they may be undefeated when they get to South Carolina.
Well, for that man and his ball club, they're going for a record 4 straight Atlantic Coast Conference championship. I would assume, as the officials are continuing to talk on the field and try to sort this one out.
Florida State, another dead ball, personal foul against Clemson. We go 15 yards against Clemson.
Double against Clemson, single against Florida State.
I guess the one guy had 2 bite marks in his leg, and the other guy only had 1.
So Florida State, who came out of the third period, in fact, they owned the third period and were driving and fumbled the ball. Clemson took it back, drove down the field, and kicked a field goal, and has since answered with another. Well, it didn't work this time as they tried the guard run again, and Danny Ford is saying that it is Clemson's football as they left it on the ground. Haynes carried it back in the first half. Well, I think we're going to seek them out this time.
What do we say in the tease? You can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool Clemson all of the time. They will. And Danny says there's no more time left in the half. Let's go into the locker room.
Willis has it complete. Dawson knocked out of bounds across the way. He'll stop the clock with 8:15. No, they're going to say that he did not get out of bounds as the clock continues to run. Jerome Henderson from Statesville, North Carolina, pushed him out of bounds. Dawson now has just hit the century mark. 6 catches for 100 yards. He'd trade them all for a victory. Right now, his ball club down by 18. Willis has it complete again. This time, Lassane. That will be enough for the first down, just across the 45. In the grasp of Arlington Nunn.
For the most part, player down.
It's Mancini, the left tackle. He's a real impact player. Only a sophomore out of Brandon, Florida.
Playing the offensive line can be tough. Here's Mancini, 67, blocking on Johnson. He's okay, he's okay. Uh-oh, from behind, rolling on the knee. Right leg, and that could cause any kind of damage. That's a typical way for an offensive lineman to get hurt. It happens a lot.
Well, for Florida State, I know we're going to see them this next weekend down in Baton Rouge. And the Tigers of LSU are going to be smart. They were off this week. They lost that opening game last Saturday night down at College Station. Then Tulane, then on the road at Syracuse and Virginia Tech. Then they've got Auburn. And look, Auburn and Miami on back-to-back weekends.
And that Syracuse game will be a tough one. Syracuse won big today over Temple.
Willis over the middle. No flag. Looking for the tight end, Dave Roberts, and this to me is one of the biggest surprises of the night. The fact Roberts does not have a reception, does he?
It looked to me like that was pass interference. I don't know if Roberts in fact does have a reception, but it looks like he should have had this one. That's right. It's either the greatest defensive play in the history of football or a foul.
Far sideline, incomplete. Henderson is the man who would airborne. Dawsey was the intended receiver. He started losing his footing, and I'm sure the thoughts going through his mind very quickly is, oh no, he's cutting in front in the open field.
As I was watching Henderson, it seemed to me like he jumped 2 counts early. If he could have stayed on his feet and run another 2 steps, he might have run in front of them.
Peter Tom Willis, Morris, Alabama, his home. Here's the reverse to Lewis. Turns the corner at midfield and is going to be struck down hard at the 50-yard line. Doug Brewster is the man who lowered the boom at the 50, and for Florida State, they still need the 44 for the first down.
And these plays won't work against a defense that's playing soft and looking for it. See Johnson sitting there, number 12 at the corner, and it takes an awful long time to hand that thing off. Hammond can't get him, but everybody else is headed for the sideline. There's Davis cleaning it up, number 9. Too soft. They're playing too soft. The way to hit him is in the middle. You got to hit him in those seams against the zone.
6 minutes, 40 seconds left in this one. They'll go for it on 4th. For the first down at the 42-yard line, and yes, it was Terry Anthony, and we waited for a moment to make sure the official said no trap, and it was a clean catch.
Okay, this is just a crossing pattern by Anthony. It's what they're giving him underneath. Good enough for a first down, pass a little behind him, but you can see Clemson not even close enough to contest that, because what they're trying to do is keep him in the middle of the field and then corral them. And that's why, because they're leading by 18 points.
Willis in the second half, 12 of 18 for 115 yards. Near sideline, has it complete to his running back Bennett, turns it upfield inside the 40, and is going to be tackled at the 37-yard line. Dexter Davis defensively, and there's a marker down back at the 45, and Peter Tom Willis is down looking at the ground, and it appears roughing the passer against Ashley Shepard. Or is it going to be offensive holding? Florida State is coming back.
10-yard penalty, still first down.
Harold.
Number 52, Robert Louis Stevenson. Not the author, but the tackle. And the holder, yes. Robert Lewis, pen in hand.
Apologies to Ashley Shepard. Good hard hit, but he was not the man that they were flagging. right side. Bennett will be tackled at the 47. Well, I'll tell you what, Levon Kirkland, along with Otis Moore. Kirkland's had a great ball game tonight. We have seen number 44 all over the place. Check some other scores. Fourth period. And Southern Mississippi has come from behind to lead it. Texas Tech has just kicked a field goal to go up by 3 over Arizona.
Red Raiders and Dukies. The Dukies, they can score. They just... Anybody else? Yeah, that is like was that their basketball team? Iowa State starting off their season with a win, or it looks like a win.
Draw play. This is Parker. He gets hammered down at the 40-yard line by Doug Brewster. About to hit 4.5 minutes left in this one. 34-16, Clemson.
Have to give Clemson a lot of credit defensively. They're giving you things. They're actually letting Florida State run out the clock on themselves. That man, he's been a winner for many years, and the reason he will play percentages, he is predictable, but his teams will hit you, and they play sound, basic football.
They've been 10-2 the last 2 years. Complete at the 34. Unbelievably, Parker held on to the football, and he just got lured by Jerome Henderson. Boy, what a stick. The groan to the crowd.
Very impressive the tackling has been here. Now what Clemson is doing, they're just running to a spot and reacting to the ball. Everybody's kind of playing loose. Peter Tom unloads it, and then another unloading right there. That's just excellent coaching and defense with a lead. They're just keeping it on the field. Keep it in front of you.
Coach Bowden's ball club, 11-1 the last 2 years. As Peter Tom Willis comes out and says, let's take a timeout. So the Seminoles trying to avoid a situation that Bowden has not seen since his first year there, and that is to lose their opening 2 ball games.
Proud to announce their first annual sports day.
Fourth down, the play action. Delivered, knocked down. Great defensive play by Dexter Davis. On the 4th and short, Florida State came out of the 2 tight end alignment, possibly thinking that Clemson would think they were going to run. They throw, and it's incomplete. And now the Tigers have but 3 minutes and 16 seconds to run off that stadium clock, and they will be 2-0. Shane Cameron comes in at quarterback, a sophomore. He is from LaGrange, Georgia. Running play goes to the right side out around the 33-yard line, and Charlie James finally knocked down after that short game. Look at a couple of very big plays in this ballgame. This is in the first half. Florida State driving.
Peter Tom did not have a good first half, and this must have been the low point, certainly as Simmons picked it off. Wayne Simmons looking a lot like Aaron Wallace there. Florida State, big drive here, chance to get back in the 3rd quarter, and the ball fumbled. That was Paul Moore, and that was it. Clemson got it and drove twice for scores.
Charlie James, again the ball carrier for the Clemson Tigers. He's out of Shaw, Mississippi. Carruthers knocks him down.
Come on, my dad. That's right. Come on, Dad, Jody.
It was a game, I think, where Clemson will test you physically, and I don't know that Florida State passed this test. You strap it on, you go after Clemson. If you're tougher than they are, you beat them. If not, they wasn't pretty good.
Cameron just going to keep it, takes it across the 40, and is wrapped up there. Oliver Strickland making the tackle. ESPN's presentation of CFA football continues tomorrow night. Special edition, defending WAC champion Wyoming takes on the Air Force. Tim Brando and Vince Dooley will be there to bring it to you 8:15 Eastern Time. 34-16 our score, and about 90 seconds right now left in this ball game. Well, Bobby Bowden looked for just the kind of ball game that you just mentioned, because in the last couple of days he has told us one of the things that when you face Clemson is the flag goes down 25 seconds and the clock had run out. They wanted to run it down as far as they could, and it stopped at 1:15. But Bobby Bowden said we expect just an alley fight, because that's the kind of ball game that Clemson always has for you, whether they come to your place or whether you go to their backyard. Yardaki to punt. Booming spiral. This is Buckley all the way back at the 9. Breaks it open at the 30. At the 40, has one man to beat, and now is caught from behind at the 46-yard line by Wesley McFadden. 55 yards on the punt, 47 on the return.
This is all Buckley. There's nothing there. Watch Buckley do his thing. It's a great cut here. And this is really classic Clemson defense. It's been this way all night. One guy back, slows him down, and everybody else catches up.
Casey Weldon, he's a sophomore in his home right here in the capital city, Tallahassee. He has come in to direct the attack with just under a minute. Look out backside. Ball was possibly tipped. Dexter Davis was the closest man to it, and it looks as though he had his arm hit on the play as Chester McLaughlin was putting the pressure on. Big night for that young man. Number 8, Chris Morocco, quarterback for the Clemson Tigers.
Sean Cameron had said the first game against Furman wasn't a test, but the quarterback that came out as the starter from the Florida State game would be the starter for the rest of the year. It appears, by Deshaun's own word, it's going to be the other guy, Morocco.
Weldon with a pass, looking for the tight end Roberts, just off his fingertips. Well, tonight's Visa players of the game are from Clemson, Terry Allen. What an evening for him. 126 yards this evening, 3 touchdowns. And Lawrence Dawsey of Florida State, as part of their continuing development of amateur athletics, Visa proud to donate $1,000 to each of these universities and $1,000 to the U.S. Olympic team. Our congratulations, Terry Allen and Lawrence Dawsey. Weldon steps up into the pocket, wants to go long, and he's looking for Baker, and a marker goes down as James Lott possibly did an extremely smart thing. He was about to be beaten for a deep 6, and he just grabbed him by the pants.
Should have grabbed him on the 20-yard line instead of the 1.
Yeah, but it's only 15 yards in college, so it's not going to cost him any more.
Yeah, well, that's right. He
grabbed him by more than the pants, but the head also.
He's undressing him there. I don't like that rule.
There were some coaches who voiced concerns about it, particularly late in a ball game, in a close ball game, and the fact that
that's outrageous.
You just tackle a receiver. Yeah.
It's an outrageous rule.
Next week, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. These same Seminoles of Florida State taking on Mike Archer's LSU Tigers. Weldon scrambling and now delivers and throws it complete at the 13-yard line to Ronald Lewis. 29 seconds left. Tell you another guy that's had a great game tonight. Could see number 12, John Johnson, putting pressure on. Boy, he was coming after the quarterback, Casey Weldon, on that play.
Well, he and Simmons play the same position. That position has been very productive. That's that bandit.
Fake the run. Now Weldon going to scramble. Gets a nice pickup block that takes away a couple. Throwing it back across the field. Has a man open. Touchdown, Chris Parker.
Great jobs here by Economou. I think it's Economou that picks up the two men, makes the block, and then by Weldon. Look at Weldon. He knows he's going to get clobbered, throws it all the way across the field to Carter, and that will look very good to the coaches in a lost cause in the films, though. He hung in there.
Bill Mason with the extra point attempt, and it's good. And you can see they're checking out Weldon's left shoulder.
Look at this. I mean, he just knew he was going to get thrown out. That was Stevenson that made that block, not Economou. A great block, picked up two men, and then Weldon took a pop but made the touchdown pass.
Ashley Shepard, number 96, is the man who hit him. 5 seconds left. Scoreboard show coming up next. Bob Carpenter will be throwing it up to you momentarily. Bob will be there with all the day's scores and highlights of this weekend number 2 in college football. The Miami Hurricanes, a big winner. After trailing early 3-0, they came on to blow out Wisconsin. Oklahoma, a big winner over the Baylor Bears. Penn State was upset this afternoon by Virginia of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Bob will have all of those games and more coming up next. Now, Coach Ford will not smile yet.
He's got a mouthful of chewing tobacco.
Yeah, but last night, as we talked down on the field, he has beaten some very good people. You look at his bowl success. Woody Hayes, Tom Osborne. That's an impressive list there. Hayes and Switzer. Those two games were in those two coaches' final games.
I guess they'll always remember Danny. Did you know that Danny chews Red Man during practice, but Taylor's Pride tobacco on game days? And there, that's Taylor's Pride right there.
You
that
can tell.
Right there.
You can tell
can
the
you
way.
Tell?
I don't know. I'm saying you can tell, huh?
Yeah.
The way it sits in his jaw.
I guess it looks better on the grass or something. I don't know.
Here comes the onside kick with 5 seconds left of the ball game. Has not gone 10 yet and has been recovered by Clemson. Chip Davis got on the football and 1 tick has gone by. So Bobby Bowden is going to be confronted with a situation, or at least will have a situation, that he's only had one other time in his coaching career here at Florida State, and that is to have dropped his first 2 ball games. It happened that first season here in Tallahassee. They went 5-6.
Yeah, I'd be hiding the schedule. Next week it's LSU. Syracuse, Auburn, and Miami together, I think, scored over 160 points today. So
going to be a tough week down here in Tallahassee on the practice field, wouldn't you say?
Well, you know, I think the thing is they have a lot of young people, and Bobby, you know, you're looking at Danny, and he's been in this position too. But what Bobby will do, he'll pull the young people together and he'll get them rolling.
Michael Carr will come in for this final snap. Takes it to the left side. Double zeros on the clock. Horn sounds, and this one is history. And finally, a smile as the Clemson Tigers have overwhelmed the Florida State Seminoles here in Seminole country, 34-23. So let's take a break. And the conversation at halftime, I'd love to hear it.